So, we're talking about Israel this week, and there's a lot. And I just want to talk about how Israel right now, we've been talking about their bombings and their raids and all of that. But right now, I want to talk about the fact that they bombed a media building. So, earlier this week, Israel bombs a tower, basically a high-rise building in Gaza, on the Gaza Strip, that housed the AP, the Associated Press, as I've gone over in other videos. This is the actual video on it. Yay! Finally. And it housed Al Jazeera, who is a broadcaster. So they hit the building, and the AP president, AP's president Gary Pruitt, had some words to say about it, and I'll just say it's not great. But here's what he said about it. So he said, we are shocked and horrified that the Israeli military would target and destroy the building housing AP's bureau and other news organizations in Gaza. They have long known the location of our bureau, and new journalists were there. We received a warning that the building would be hit. Now, here is a clip of what that actually looked like.
God.
That is the Al Jallah Tower. That tower is where Al Jazeera's offices were housed. The Associated Press offices were also housed in that building.
So, that's exactly what that looked like. Now, fortunately, the journalists were offered another space to work in, and this was via the wire service that was operated in France called the AFP. Now, Gary Pruitt also said this, this is a disturbing development. We narrowly avoided a terrible loss of life. A dozen AP journalists and freelancers were inside the building, and thankfully we were able to evacuate them in time. The world will know less of what's happening in Gaza because of what's happened today. Now, there's a debate on whether Israel has the evidence to say of whether or not Hamas is operating in the building or not. Now, their latest excuse for striking it is, oh my God, Hamas is operating in the building. He's doing airstrikes from the building, and we absolutely had to do it. We had no other choice in the matter. This just had to happen. And now, here's the thing. The AP, the Associated Press, is demanding the evidence of that, because I would. But the thing is, the IDF is honestly really struggling to actually make people believe that's actually true. Now, look, I don't know how it makes sense. How does it make sense to strike a building that's got reporters, that's got civilians, right? That's what a lot of reporters are asking. And yeah, I think they're correct. How does it make sense? Now, I'm going to go over exactly why they did it in a bit, right? But in a bit, so I have something in my throat. But the main thing is, right, how does it make sense to bomb civilians, period? How does it make sense for this massacre of Palestinians to keep going? How does it make sense to bomb hospitals, residential areas, highways, streets, refugee camps, Doctors Without Borders, all of that? How does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. Now, the journalists unfortunately couldn't take any of their equipment, and the owner of the building was actually on a call begging the Israeli military to allow for the journalists to take their equipment. But unfortunately, the Israeli military did not budge on that, and so unfortunately they couldn't take their equipment. Now, even though they had to evacuate the building, if you Now This had a good video, and I'm sorry, there's heavy people upstairs. They had a video where they were saying, look, even though these people had to evacuate, they took cameras, they took stands, tripods, books, notebook, whatever they needed to take just to be able to record in the aftermath when they evacuated the building what happened. That's how devoted these journalists were. I would be like, see ya, sucker. But as a journalist student, I know exactly how important recording world events actually is. Now, here's the thing. The IDF is using evidence from 7 years ago, in 2014 or 15, something like that, from a former reporter of the AP saying that, oh my God, Hamas is operating in the building. Wow, that's the furthest you could go. That's the nearest you could get, was someone who formerly works for an organization long ago who said it might be true. Not any intelligence. No intelligence sources, none. And so now that is my sister. So you have people saying, oh well, we gave the U.S. The evidence. We gave the evidence to the U.S. government, and they found the evidence to be satisfactory. Well, of course they found it to be satisfactory. I mean, come on, the U.S. backs Israel on everything they do. They never condemn Israel, ever. And like, for example, right now they've got a resolution in the UN. UN has a resolution not condemning Israel, but just demanding a ceasefire, demanding an end to the fighting. But what does the U.S. say? No, we want to kill more Palestinians. We want to show them who's boss. We want them to give them any attempt at freedom. That's what we want. We don't want them to have any more freedom. Okay? That's the problem. So now here's an interview, right, from with Brian Stelter from CNN. He's corrupt, as all of them are. But I want to show you this clip because it's quite important. So there's two parts of this interview, but let's show you the first one.
Are you able to provide proof now that Hamas was in the building?
Not only was Hamas in the building, they were actively using it to fight against Israel. They were using the infrastructure as their command center and intelligence center. It is as you said in the beginning, we deem it to be a legitimate military target, and out of consideration for human life and for the people who work there, we chose to forfeit additional military gains by surprise attacking. And instead, we did what, of course, is the right thing to do, advance warning, and allowed everybody to clear.
Can you show us the evidence? Can you hold it up? Can you show us the pictures, the intelligence you have?
That's in process, and I'm sure that in due time, that information will be presented.
But shouldn't that have happened 24 hours ago?
Again, we've said very clearly what's in the building.
Right, but if you all knew Hamas was in the building and you're about to bomb a news bureau, you could have provided the evidence an hour or two later.
Well, it's not about bombing a news bureau. It's about the fact that Hamas systematically uses civilian infrastructure for their military purposes.
All right. So, first off, I love that Brian Stelter did question him. I'm excited. I'm happy that he did. But I love how he never questions our politicians who are corrupt, ever. He never questions them. Why are you corrupt? Why are you taking donor money? Why are you not for the people and you're for the corporations instead? No, he never asked that question because Brian Stelter is bought. But here, he did an incredible job. Now, I wish he would ask, why are you bombing Palestinians? Why are you bombing refugee camps? Why are you illegally evicting people from Palestinians from East Jerusalem? Why are you doing an illegal occupation? No, he's never going to ask that question. But hey, there's a conflict that not a lot of people know the history of, so I'm just going to cover what's going on right now. Oh, and they touched one of my colleagues? Oh, now I'm affected. Oh, wow. Now, the one question I would ask this guy here, this spokesperson for the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, I would say, okay, so here's the thing. How do they know? How do they know Hamas was in there and that he's using it as to fight Israel and as a command center and intelligence center? How do they know that? Because here's the thing. They're not presenting any of the evidence. They're not. He's just speaking out of his ass. Now, I love that the media did this, that Brian Stelter did this, because here's the thing. The media always lies, and they're always You always have news anchors saying, "Oh my God, yes, you're saying Hamas are terrorists. Yes, Hamas are terrorists. They're absolutely wrong. Everything you do is great. Even though you're killing Palestinians, breaking international laws, and murdering Palestinians, that's okay with us. Wow, thank you for telling the truth, sir. You're absolutely amazing. Great job." Now, on this guy, we'll present the evidence later. That's nonsense. How dumb can you be? Shouldn't, and I love what Brian Stelter said. Hey, shouldn't you have the evidence before you bomb a bureau? Oh, it's not about bombing a bureau. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Right? And I love how it's like, if you had the evidence, why didn't you say, "Hey, look, guys, it was a tragedy. We had to do it, but we found out. Here's the evidence right here, right now. Here you go. Here's the evidence." I'm just holding up my phone because I don't have paper. Here's the evidence. And we understand that Hamas is operating out of this system, out of this building. And if you had that evidence, if you knew that, then why didn't you warn the bureau, the AP's bureau, and that they were living with terrorists, that they were living with people who were attacking Israelis? Why didn't you warn them? Oh wait, I know why you didn't warn them, because they weren't there. Hamas wasn't there. They know where Hamas is. They know where he is. And another thing, nobody should believe the military of any country at all. Right? I mean, you could name a bunch of states. You can name the U.S., the Turks, Saudi Arabia, anyone. Like, they've all killed people, and every single time the military was they will say, "Oh, well, it's perfectly justified. It's perfectly justified." What else do you want us to say? Come on. Wow. Incredible. Honestly, incredible. And look, I mean, the Pentagon lies all the time. All the time. So if you're going to believe the Pentagon, I feel bad for you. But you shouldn't believe them, nor any other country's military. I don't care if they're our allies or not. You should not believe them, because most of the time they're going to lie about any conflict. Now, look, the thing about these journalists is, and this building, they were shooting out of this building, not shooting guns, not shooting cannons, not shooting missiles, rockets, drones, out of drones, sending drones out. They were shooting videos of the city. It was the best vantage point on top of one of the best vantage points on top of the building's rooftop. On the rooftop of that building, they shot the bombs landing in the middle of the city, in the middle of Gaza. They were showing the carnage. They were showing the aftermath and the damage and the tragedy that it was causing. Now, because of this bombing, they've got no equipment, no rooftop, no ability to report any war crimes. No ability at all. Now, if you can't see that they bombed this building, now I'm getting here. They bombed this building because it was because there were journalists who were reporting it. If you can't see that, you are blind like me, and even more blind than me. I don't know how you can't see that. I really don't. It makes no sense. You're not very bright if you can't see that. Oh my God, there's a media building. They have one of the best vantage points on its rooftop, and they can catch all of our war crimes. Let's go ahead and. If you can't see that, you've got a problem. Now, let's get back to this interview with the IDF spokesperson, because it's incredible. Watch this.
Israeli intelligence has presented the intelligence to the United States, that the Biden White House knows about this intelligence. Can you confirm that report in the Jerusalem Post?
Unfortunately, I cannot. I don't know what they based that report on.
Sir, what about a timeline for the proof that you say will be provided? Today, tomorrow?
No, I cannot commit to that either. I don't know. I know that we're in the middle of fighting here. Our civilians are being bombarded by, up until now, 2,900 rockets. We have 9 dead Israeli civilians, 1 dead soldier. The country is under constant, relentless bombardment. Civilians are in shelters. 5-6 million Israeli civilians are in shelter almost the entire day. So yes, it's very important, and I understand that many people are very concerned about it. I am sure that Israeli officials will get to it as soon as possible, but now, the order of the day is to beat Hamas and to overcome the military challenges that are life-threatening for our civilians.
All right. I love this clip. How he's like, well, we he's complaining about Israeli casualties. What? Oh, we have 10 dead Israeli. Why don't you complain about the Palestinians, right? He's saying, oh, we're trying to beat Hamas and he's life-threatening to our civilians. And then, you guys have killed hundreds of Palestinians, more than 60 children, more than 100. You guys have killed so many people in Palestine. Oh, 10 dead Israelis? Wow. Look, that's also sad. One Israeli soldier, guarantee you that soldier was causing hell, giving hell to all the Palestinians, right? So, I'm not saying he should be dead, but still, why don't you complain about that? Love how he mentions, oh my God, my Israelis. Oh, but you're not going to mention the Palestinians that you're all killing. All right. Now, Brian Stelter mentions the Jerusalem Post. The Jerusalem Post posted something like, oh, we saw a bunch of evidence about a whole score sheet of evidence of Hamas being in that building. Okay. In fact, they say that they presented it to the U.S., right? So who would they present it to? Antony Blinken. Antony Blinken is the Secretary of State, and he's not a fan of the Palestinians at all. He has not done anything to defend them. Instead, he's defended Israel. Now, here's an article which says, breaking, Secretary of State Antony Blinken says he has not seen any Israeli evidence of Hamas operating in a Gaza office building that Israel destroyed in an airstrike. If you look, he's 1,000,000,000% behind Israel. He's more right-wing than Biden, I think. I don't know. They're all right-wing in his cabinet. But he is so right-wing. He's funded by Israel. He worked with Israel to give them contracts with the U.S. So, and all kinds of shit. So if you can't get Antony Blinken to confirm what you're saying, you didn't present any evidence, boy. You really didn't. I mean, come on. Right? Now, here's another thing I'll say. You should not have the IDF spokesperson spreading a bunch of shit and propaganda. Okay? You should not have them. Let me ask you this. Okay. I got a question. Would it be okay if if a Hamas person comes on, one of his representatives, one of his officials comes on CNN saying the same shit, making the same excuses of, well, we had to kill these Israelis. I know we killed those 10 people and we killed a couple of children, but hey, you know what? The children shouldn't have been there, and the Israelis are using are hiding behind their children. We had to do this. We're gonna settle in their country even though it's illegal. It's against the law. The Israelis are attacking us, so we're gonna have to do this. No, because then it's, oh my God, terrorists, oh my God. I'm so tired of that word too. Like, if you are powerless and the states crush you and kill you and murder your people and take over your land and push you out of it, you're the terrorist, not them. You are. Oh, but the states who have all the power and who do all the murdering, all the killing, all the murders, no, and break international laws. No, they're not the terrorists. Even though they're the ones committing the acts that terrorists commit. Even though they're doing everything that the terrorists do. They say, oh, we're the cherished states. We're supposed to be cherished and honored. Yeah. Way to bomb a media building, Netanyahu. No other reason than he's not doing it other than, hey, I don't want them to report on my war crimes, the war crimes that I'm committing. If you can't see that, I feel bad for you.